Hi, and thank you for tuning in to episode 10 of Beauty's Queen's Random Thoughts, Happenings, and Ideas. I am your host, Beauty. Now, if you watched the last episode, then you know that this is basically the premiere of season 2, episode 1. But just to keep track, I'm going to do it this way. And if it's random and crazy to you, then welcome to my world. As you know, that my thoughts are pretty random and I say a lot of random things, but they are thoughts that are in my mind, and it's a lot about what's going on. And I told you in the last episode that I will probably start scripting and if you haven't watched episode 1 through 9, you should probably check them out. I don't know, I'm just saying that you should probably check them out. That would be nice and kind of you. And I was pretty much, I didn't script this one, even though I did think about it ahead of time, but I didn't write down what I'm going to say, but because it's just what's on my mind and heart or whatever concerning the issue. Now, my random thought, a lot of times my random thought is not so random because it's the things that's going on, but it is random in my conversation. And I feel like if you have a voice, why not use it? I disdain when somebody who has an authority or a position elects not to do something, to not right or wrong, which makes me think about what's going on today. And, well, not actually today, but just in this season. And that's a lot of young black men have been killed over these last, life. But for the most part, people are outraged and angry. People have been marching in different cities and states concerning the issue because they want resolution, I guess, for the most part. And that brought me to the story. This story I've heard taught a few times. I've read it many of times. And this is my own interpretation of it. I encourage you also to read it. And this story is about a young woman named Esther. Well, from the book of Esther. And how I got what's going on today with Esther, just listen to my overall view. If you haven't read the story before or even heard of it, I will give you a synopsis for the most part of what happened in the story. Now in the story, the young lady Esther was like an orphan. Her parents had died. Well, not like, she was actually an orphan. Her parents had died and she grew up, I believe Mordecai was her uncle, but it could have been her cousin. I can't remember exactly. And he grew up, he brought her up as his daughter. Mordecai used to work for the king, which was King Xerxes, or Alexerxes, however you want to say it, Asherah, whatever. So Mordecai worked for him, but it was also another man who worked for him who had a higher position. His name was Haman. Now, Mordecai used to be like at the gate of the king, and it was two men who were minding business that was not of their own, inquiring and just into mischief. They should have found something better to do with their time, but they didn't. And they kept asking Mordecai why he doesn't pay homage to Haman like everybody else did. And Mordecai, I guess, didn't answer them sufficiently or to their liking, so they brought it to the attention of Haman. And when Haman realized that Mordecai wasn't paying him homage like everybody else was, he was upset. But Haman, he didn't just decide to do away with Mordecai. It was in his heart and mind that he should do away with anybody who was of the same kindred, bloodline, looked like him, looked same city, the Jews. He wanted to do away with all of them, right? So, Mordecai was in a position Haman was in a position to make whatever his heart desired into law right away because he had a position with the king. And that's what he did. He said, he didn't explain everything, but the king trusted him. And my thoughts and actions is actually because Haman put into law, let's kill all the Jews on a certain date. But little did Haman know that Mordecai had an advocate with the queen too, with the king too, and that was Queen Esther, who replaced Queen Vashti, who was not queenly. How about that? She made her look like a queen in beauty, but her actions wasn't of a queen. And so, to make a long story short, Queen Esther ended up going to her husband, the king, and the same gallows that Haman built to kill Mordecai was the same ones that he got hung up on. Now, why I say that that's what's going on today is because I know it's laws getting put into place, and it's a lot of wrong that's getting done. Not just, and black people of all races. No. Sorry. What movie did that come from? But even in that, Mordecai got, all the Jews was mourning together. They wasn't necessarily marching down the street, and I'm not saying that you should not, but I'm just saying you need to be sure that you get to the person who's in a position to do something about it, as opposed to the cry, which you do have that. And just know that that wicked Haman will be hanging on his own gallows. And that is from, look, Emmett Till and Sean Bell to Eric Garner and Mike Brown, Adam Matters, all the way to that. So even a young boy Christian. So I just wanted to encourage you today that no matter what get put into law or what they decide they're going to do, and that's people of a different mindset from the mindset of do what's wrong versus do what's right and just. So I'm Beauty, and I'm TWO.